On the podcast today, I'm honored to have Mrs. Shailza Suri, who's the Mrs. India Perfect Smile 2019. What's special about her journey is that she defied all odds and made the entire world believe in the age old saying of age is just a number. She's one of those incredible women who started her professional modeling journey in her 40s and went on to winning numerous accolades and bringing in the glory home. This episode of the podcast is really close to my heart as I've always been fascinated with the beautiful world of modeling and fashion and have always wondered what is being a model like. What are the challenges and rigor which models have to go through? How does this industry operate? And what it takes to make a mark in this space? I know a lot of people get attracted to this space because of all the glitz and glamour, but this field, like any other, you constantly need to show up, work hard, build up your personality, and level up your fitness game. On the podcast today, Mrs. Shailza gives us deep insights into how the fashion and the modeling industry operates, what goes on in the minds of the models, and what fuels her as a public figure. I promise you that this episode, like the others on the podcast, will help you open up, build up your personality, and definitely increase your knowledge. So do watch this video till the end and do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more such incredible videos. Now without any further ado, let's just jump right in and hear out from Mrs. Shailza Suri. Welcome to the podcast, ma'am. Thanks a lot for joining me on the show today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Surya. The pleasure is entirely mine. I have been superly excited about being, and interviewed by you at this podcast. So I'm so looking forward to getting started already.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. And I have been following your journey for a long time now. And it is really phenomenal to witness what you have achieved so far in your career. You have also been crowned the Haut Monde Mrs. India Perfect Smile and Fab to Fit. So can you tell us a bit about your journey, how it started, and what really inspired you to venture into modeling in the first place?
Absolutely, Surya. The journey has been as surprising as it is to you because for I think 13 years before I actually participated in Haut Monde, I was a teacher and I have held all the possible positions that you can think of, from being a junior teacher to the middle school. And when I left school finally, I was teaching in DPS, Jalandhar, and I was taking senior classes. When my husband got posted to Delhi, I again started applying at different schools. And to my aghast, I realized that women post 40 were not absorbed in the good schools. I don't know the reason why. I'm still puzzled. Irrespective of having all the possible qualifications that I could have had, and obviously the background of experience, I had everything, but still I did not get, any decent school to work in. And then I just told myself that, okay, Shailza, one thing, I have always made the most of wherever my husband has been posted. So once he came to Delhi and I was not getting a job in a good school, I thought that I have to, experiment something new because we are in a capital city. And as Fauji wife, you don't really get an opportunity to be in Delhi very often. So that is when I thought that, it's time that I rebrush and clean up the dream that I once had of holding my own finishing school someday. So that was the whole blueprint, because I wanted to open a finishing school for myself. I thought that until and unless I have accolades to my name, unless people know me, nobody is going to come and take my sessions. So that was the whole idea of participating in Haut Monde, and I chose the most competitive pageantry at that time because Haut Monde does not categorize you on the basis of your age. So when I participated, I was already 44. And I was competing against a girl as young as 23 because the only criteria of participating in this beauty pageant, which was international, was that you had to be married. And there were at least 175 finalists then. Good Lord, you can imagine what would have been my plight. But I took the plunge because the greater the risk, higher are the rewards is what I believe in. And that is why I did not go in for any other pageantry where, you had platinum category, golden category on the basis of your age demarcation. So that was why I chose Haut Monde. And by the grace of God, I got a lot of visibility on Facebook, on Instagram. I used to post everything that I was doing, to improve myself overall in terms of my appearance, my grooming, training with other trainers. So people quite appreciated my journey. Maybe because I was bringing it right out, very, very candidly. I was not sugarcoating it at all. And they thought that Bichari 44 years pe participate kariye. So maybe they were a little empathetic towards me. I don't know. But that is how it all got started. Before that, Surya, I didn't even have, my account on Instagram. I didn't
Okay.
even have any account on Facebook. So it was only kind courtesy the pageantry that we had to open these accounts. And now I have a whooping account by the grace of God. And that's it. That's the whole journey.
So where exactly did this passion stem out from, like the passion for modeling?
Passion for modeling was always there because even like my father was also in the army. So, we always have these innate parties and balls happening. You know it.
Yeah.
May Queen ball happens and Christmas Eve ball happens. So I've always participated in these balls, and I used to win occasionally. I used to win few, and then when I got married, I continued. I participated. Then I used to win as in the Mrs category. And once it so happened that Vikram, that's my husband, he was posted in Secunderabad, and we had this huge contest happening in Secunderabad club. So I participated and I won in that category. So and same year I won in the RSI also. So then, because we were at a very cosmopolitan city, I bagged some very good offers. So good modeling campaigns came my way, and for good 2-3 years, I continued doing it professionally. So modeling was never new to me though. Then I discontinued it because of my family commitments and other reasons. I went back to teaching. I did not continue, but sporadically I have been associated with modeling.
Well, that's really wonderful. And you just now mentioned that you hail from an army background, and I believe that the kind of rigor and discipline which is instilled in us as, army brats since our childhood translates
yes.
into kids from the army becoming very well-rounded and multifaceted individuals as they grow up. And you have a lot of movie stars, sports persons, and renowned business tycoons who come from a military background. So I would love to know about your experiences growing up in a military environment and some of the major learnings which you think you couldn't have gotten elsewhere.
Yeah, so I feel absolutely blessed and privileged that God chose me to be, in family by people who are in the military, like my father, my brother, my husband. All the men in the family are from the forces. I haven't seen any other world but Forge, and I so love it. And yes, there is an innate grooming that every child, whose parents have been in the army get, and that is to always adapt, to accept the new nuances, the challenges, the unforeseen things, because we keep changing places every 2 years. We keep changing as kids, schools every 2 years. Our friend circles change, our teachers change, and not every time do we get things and people to our taste. So we have to adapt. We have to make the most of what comes our way, and we have to be very resilient. We can't just stop. It's an ongoing process. And the most unique quality that all our Fauji brats have is that they love to be associated. I'm still in touch with my class 1 schoolmate, and today I am 47. So you can imagine the camaraderie that we breed, the camaraderie of different genres that we live in. It is so beautiful. I've heard so many times, people saying that you are from the army background. It is so bad. You're changing school every now and then. Nothing is permanent. Sometimes you're in a metro, sometimes you're in a small city. But I think on the contrary, it makes you very, very adaptable to different things, to the unforeseen things, and you take the plunge without any fear. So I think one common trait amongst all the army brats would be that we are very fearless. We don't fear the unknown. We get excited about it, and we plan what we wish to do and how we wish to go about it. So I think this is the greatest learning, and it's coming very handy till date. Till date.
Wow, that must have been a really, challenging roller coaster ride and equally incredible as well from a learning standpoint. So, can you throw some light on the kind of challenges you underwent in the initial days of starting your modeling career? And how did you manage to beat the odds?
I'm not sure if I've actually beaten the odd, but yes, I did have my share of challenges. The first one was that I always chose, to be with my family. I never wanted to stay at one place and grow in my career. I never wanted my daughters to be away from my husband. If we got a posting where all of us could be together, that was my priority. So many a times there were many contracts which demanded that I should have, embarked myself, or I should have established myself at a place longer than what I usually used to. So I let go of many good contracts. Firstly, I have no regrets because to me, my family is priority, and my girls were growing up. So for the formative years, this is what I deliberately chose, that I let go of those contracts. The other thing was that whichever agencies I worked with, in modeling, then that is about 5 to 6 years ago, I was already married. I was at a very mature age. But thankfully, by the grace of God, I still don't show my age as what people tell me so. So when I used to bag the contracts, everybody used to be quite enamored by my personality, by the fitness level that I displayed and the confidence that I had in front of the camera. But the moment they used to get to know that I'm married, and I'm an army officer's wife, so there's going to be, no continuity from my side. Then, they used to try and replace me with somebody else. So, but like how I told you earlier, except for this, I did not face much challenges. But had people been more, open to my way of living, had they understood my commitments as a married woman, probably I would have been happier. But although if they didn't do, I still ended up doing lots more in my life. So I had no regrets at all, Surya.
And I definitely believe that age shouldn't be a barrier to your passion,
Yes.
and you should never stop dreaming.
True, but it not everybody thinks like you, and although India is changing, the mindset is changing, but we are still very far away from even touching 50%. So these things do happen, but nevertheless, we should always continue forward and, grab the maximum that we can.
Yeah, definitely. And for me personally, I honestly, got interested to explore the whole fashion and modeling space in a broader sense. Just a couple of days back when Harnash Sandhu got
Oh,
crowned the Miss
yes.
Universe 2021. And, that was a really remarkable milestone for what the youth and especially women of this country can go on to achieve.
Yes.
Now, coming on to talking a bit about the fashion and modeling industry, do you see the industry evolving right from your early days to now at present? And what are some of the trends which you see forthcoming in the future?
Yes, this is a very interesting question to answer, Surya. So, I've been a kind of a child right from start that I always loved wearing which outfits which I could relate to, even when I was a child. I never followed fashion blindly. I used to get my own clothes stitched because when I was young back then, we were not exposed to very many labels, so to speak, brands, and we came from humble homes. So whenever we would get our special occasions, so what I would request my parents was that, I want to get something stitched and I would design it to my taste and wear it. So, yes, that individualistic fashion trait was always there in me. And as I grew older and, to till date, I create my own trend. I create my own fashion now that I have my Instagram account and, people are very appreciative of the way I dress up and they tell me, Shailza, it's very elegant and it's very classy and whatever that it is. But to me, it is very personal. To me, it is a way of displaying who I am without having to speak. My fashion, the way I carry myself, it's a lot about my personality. And this is why I understand as we progress in coming decades, I think that fashion is going to become more relatable, not only an eye candy to watch, but something that people can associate, differentiating themselves into different personality type. Very upfront and relatable is what I see the coming fashion trends to be.
That's really exciting. And as you rightly mentioned about how, fashion can form narratives in the minds of the people. So I believe as a model and a fashion icon, you also embrace the role of an agent of change, because a lot of times you are in the public eye, and now that there's social media, Instagram, Snapchat, you name it, there's a whole set of people who look up to you. So what do you think about that? And do you think fashion or modeling as a medium plays a role in generating awareness about issues which are considered as taboo topics in the society today?
Absolutely, yes. A big yes to it, Surya, because like how I told you that my Instagram and Facebook is not very many years old, it's just a few years old. And when it just started to grow, now I don't know people at personal level, but there are a lot of people who are following me. They're following me for various reasons. It could be because now I am thickly into pageant training. I'm a coach. I speak at different forums and I do promotional modeling. So I don't know which aspect has excited them to follow me. And yes, they follow me. But very strangely, I also get mails and I get messages on my media and they open their hearts to me, and they range from their personal experiences to guidances that they're seeking to be in a certain profession. Because I've been into education, I'm into fashion industry now, I've been a part of entertainment too. And I take communication and personality development. So there are a lot of people who approach me with different queries. So I feel that yes, people are approaching me because they have opened up to me only because of this porousness of media, and it is only going to get better from here. And although I don't know people at personal level, but I always try and give the most sincere advice that I can, because it's a trait that every army wife or someone who's been in the army would have. They generally don't try to mince their words, and I think that is my USP, and that is what has taken me this far. If I have been able to achieve whatever little that I have at the age of 47, it is only because I've been very true with myself and very true with displaying who I am, very unapologetically and very humbly at the same time.
Oh, that's really great. And now coming on to talking about the Haut Monde competition and Haut Monde pageantry, and you competed in Haut Monde with women from across geographies, and that too in the open category, as you rightly mentioned at the beginning of the podcast.
Yes.
And being crowned the Mrs. India Perfect Smile and Fab to Fit is a stupendous achievement in itself. So I would really love to know about your Mrs. India story, and how was the journey to the final podium like?
Well, it was a long way to the finale because, as I told you, they asked us to open our accounts, and every week they would give us some tasks to do. And these tasks had an expiry date, so we had to finish it at a certain time. And because it was competitive, it had to be good also, because the greater the visibility you would have on media, you would have a better chance to stand out amongst the finalists, because it was one of the major criterias of becoming coming in top 50. So this was one big challenge, because all the time facing the camera, trying to speak candidly, doing tasks, going to various places, catching hold of people, to do something for you, because you had. So I was very passionate about it, because I am basically passionate about everything that I do in my life. So I always gave 100% to each task that came my way, and slowly and gradually, without me realizing it also, it started changing me from inside out. And I only realized it when people started telling me that, Shailza, there is a lot of change in you. And they were very appreciative, thankfully, of the change that they saw in me. Maybe, I wasn't so confident facing the camera, or I was not as expressive as what I am today. So there were certain ups. So this aspect of pageantry, I'm very, very grateful for. Otherwise, we went to Greece, and there were many rounds there, like how every international pageantry has, like, talent round. Then you have your rapid fire round, introduction round. Then you have your swimwear round, where you're made to do a little bit of photo shoot and ramp by the beach in your swimwear. And there are different locations where they take you for different photo shoots. So they are continuously assessing you on the basis of how you're interacting with your co-contestants, how are you dealing, your idiosyncrasies at the pageantries, and of course your behavior with the organizers. And so all this, it just comes back to me in a flash when I think about it, although it's been now almost 2 years that I participated in it, but everything comes back to me in a flash. Like today you're asking me, so this is all that I can recollect. And of course I made some very good friends when I was at the pageantry. Not every time every pageantry is about competition and cutthroatism and pulling somebody's legs down. It's also about making some wonderful friends, which I did.
That's a great takeaway from the conversation. Nowadays a lot of people are focusing on this agenda of networking.
Yes.
And how it has become really important to network with a lot of people so that you can just get a step ahead in your career or in whatever is that you're trying to do. And I would also like to know about the Haut Monde pageantry in a bit detail. So how many rounds were there in total, and can you bifurcate what all you had to do in each of those rounds?
Okay, so first is that you apply for it. Then there is an audition. I gave the audition in the Lalit, which is there in Connaught Place, Delhi. And I was expected to show a little bit of ramp walk. I was asked to display a talent for which I sang a song. And then there was an introduction. I had to give my basic introduction. So I cleared the auditions. Then came the orientation, for which we went to Radisson, Agra. We were there for 5 days, and very eminent groomers from different fields, nutritionists, then fitness gurus, then motivational speakers, therapists, photographers, they were all there, and they took our training sessions there. There were a couple of photo shoots that we did, and of course we shot for Mrs. Popular video also there at that time, which came rolling much later, but it was already done there. And then started the journey online. We all came back to our own destinations, and then, like how I told you, every week we were thrown at a task based on the month, the national festivals, the other associate, things coming by. They used to make us go to different places, take interviews, do dance drama, have candid conversations, speak like a pro, or, be like a model and come up with best photo shoots. We did all. And in those, so this orientation happened in March, and October was the finale in Greece. So this continued till October, till we went to Greece, and I was there for 2 weeks. And so from the time it all started, we had at least 4 to 5 photo shoots in different locations. One thing I want to tell you is that although pageantry is so is made to believe that it is very glamorous, and because everybody is expected to look their best, behave their best. So, but there is a lot of chaos at the back. I keep telling the girls when I'm grooming them also that, you will be thrown in the roughest of waters. You have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because you have to get yourself, makeup has to be done, hair has to be done before the photo shoot. You go for the photo shoot, you come back, you quickly have your lunch, then you have your training sessions, then you come back, have your dinner, then you go for your ramp practices. So by the time you hit the bed, it is like 12:31 in the night. You wake up again at 4, and yet you are supposed to look your best. You cannot say that I'm tired and I can't pull on. You have to look your best because it's a competition. So I was made to go through this grind along with other participants. And I'm not just talking about Haut Monde. There are many other pageantries. Now that I'm a groomer and I'm an official groomer with so many other pageantries, now I realize that this is the pattern. Okay, and winning a crown should never be your criteria. Taking on that journey most sincerely is what actually brings the change. It's never the crown that brings the change. It's the journey that you undertake from start till the finale is what changes you. This is my
Basically enjoying the
yeah,
process.
you have to enjoy the entire process. If you keep thinking that, oh, I have to take the crown and it's only the crown that makes a difference, no. There are so many people who won the crowns, but they are sitting comfortably in their homes and their crowns are being decorated in their living rooms. So there has to be a blueprint. You have to think bigger. Pageantries are stepping stones. Okay, they are not your end results. It's not like you've won a crown, so now you will forever be the queen, or you will forever be the brand ambassador, you'll forever be the jury or the guest. No, it's very limited. The time span is few months. What after that? So you should always plan your, participation into a pageantry and have a bigger plan. What exactly are you trying to achieve out of participating in a pageant? Pageant should always be a stepping stone. It gives you a lot of opportunities into different fields. You could become an influencer, you could become a groomer like how I have, you could go into entertainment field, you could go into fashion world. So many areas open up for you. But then you have to tap it at the right time. Even if you miss a day, you're missing a lot. Because visibility of crown winners of pageantry is only from season to season. Once there is an overlap of one season, the previous season, it's all forgotten unless you have done something in that stipulated given time, unless you've encashed the opportunity well.
That must be a really challenging journey, and I can totally imagine the kind of grind models and pageant people have to go through, and that is really inspiring. And I'm sure a lot of people, especially women who would want to become a model as well, would be super confident right now after hearing your story. And there was this one quote which I recently came across by Miosha Prada, and she's one of the most renowned fashion designers in the world, and she says, what you wear is how you present yourself to the world, especially today when human contacts are so quick. So I believe the kind of clothing you put on, especially when you're doing that ramp walk, defines you as a person, and what message you strongly want to communicate to the world.
Absolutely. So, you said it, like how I was telling you that it's a very strong body language cue, non-verbal body language cue. Your ramp walk or your personality, how you come across. When I say personality, it just doesn't mean in the manner you speak, you look, you behave, but also you dress and how you conduct yourself and others when you're in public domain. So it's all a reflection of your personality. So strongly and so rightly said, Surya.
It's basically bringing out the real you.
Oh, yes.
When you're doing that ramp walk.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So when I'm doing the training, this is what I tell the girls. I say, don't copy one another. Show your true
Bring
self.
out the
It's an
real you.
opportunity. The camera is right there to, click the best, that you can display of yourself. So just go in the front ramp and give your best poses possible. Look into the eyes of the camera and show people who you are. So I think it's a great opportunity for people, who are aspirants or, wish to be a part of the beauty and fashion industry, to, just bear it all. And believe you me, Surya, if you love yourself, if you love what you're doing, people will love you anyhow. Because it's never what you do, what they love. It's how you do what they love.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly.
So a lot of people,
and that's what people remember you for.
Yes. So a lot of time when I'm being interviewed, like I'm so honored that you're also taking me on podcast. But before also when I've been interviewed, everybody tells me there's no need to talk about your age. I said, but I am very proud, especially during Corona times. I'm alive, I'm healthy. I have to be very grateful to be facing all odds and trying to look the best that I can. So I take a lot of pride in my age and whatever that I have achieved while towing on my lines at home front, the commitments that I hold for the army, and of course my passion.
That's really incredible, and I'm really inspired by your journey right now. And now I wanna deep dive a little bit into the business side of things, especially since I come from that background. And from what I have come to know about the industry as of now is that you have different agencies, groomers, as you told me right now, endorsements, and a really big team managing the PR side of things.
Yes.
Also, you have recently had a stint as the assistant show director of the Forever Star
Yes.
India Award. So, can you tell us a bit about
Oh,
that
yes.
and how does this entire space operate?
Yes, it is all very, very sorted. When you get started, firstly, you should take proper training. Just because you won a beauty pageant, you start announcing people that you've now become an influencer or a trainer, sounds very bogus. And believe you me, taking out, your due money from people, it's not easy. Unless they think that you're not worthy of it, they will not put money on you. So first, get yourself groomed. You first get yourself trained properly, have your certifications, practice it at a lower level, within your vicinity, your society, wherever you can lay your hands on. Once you've brushed it up, then come professionally on screen and start talking about what you wish to. Because every time you open your mouth, you better make sense. Because you then display yourself in public domain. If you're a public figure, you are supposed to act a certain way, you are supposed to look a certain way and talk very sensibly, irrespective of whether you are from fashion, entertainment, influencer background, whatever it could be, a motivational speaker or, holistic living speaker or whatever. So first is that your first appearance on media has to be very thumping. People have to welcome you. So if you're not welcomed, please understand that you're dumped then. People are not going to view anything that you are putting because they have already put a cross in their heads that, okay, you are not worthy of it. Because you open the Instagram, you open the Facebook. I mean, we are showered by influencers and groomers. There are so many in the market. So when there are so many in the market, you need to have your own USP. Find your own USP. What is your USP and play by it. And I always tell that we should always play by our strengths. Rather than, putting all the eggs in one basket, you must spread out and then play accordingly. So this is how you should do your business also. Okay, you must invest little into your strengths and see which surpasses the other. And then that's a very subtle way of you understanding what is your USP. And then start acting upon your USP. Okay, so when I won the pageant, I got a lot of options, like I could have been a model also, full-fledged model, or I could have gone into influencing, but I chose to be a groomer because I played by my strengths. I've always been a teacher. So connecting with my students, connecting with masses, it comes very easy to me. And I'm very comfortable talking to people. Expressing my thoughts to people comes easy to me. And I'm always, able to form a vibe. So I thought that grooming is something that I should go with. And then I took proper training, to turn myself into a professional groomer. And now I have trained thousands of girls, and many of them have won crowns. And so here comes your branding. So now people associate Shailza with hard work, sincerity, honest reviews about different pageantries, and winning a crown. So this is my brand now, Shailza Suri, when people associate me with this. But it did not happen overnight, Surya. I had to work very hard for it. When I initially started, I did a lot of collaborative work because people thought that I was a novice. I did not know anything. Right? So it's only when I proved my sincerity, hard work, my expertise in this field is when I started getting good contracts. Like what you're speaking about, yes, I was not less than a week ago, I was in Jaipur. We were in Marriott for almost 5 days and I was the show director there. And this is my first interaction with them. Although online, I have been associated with them. But this was the culmination event whereby it was a mix of pageantry, award show, where the designers, entrepreneurs from different fields were being awarded. So it was not just a pageantry, but it was an amalgamation and mix of everything. So it was a great challenge for me to, put this show together. So, and I was not alone in this. A celebrated fashion choreographer, you must have heard his name, Utsav Dholakia. he was there, and he's the man, who's taken on Fashion Lakme Week. He's gone to Milan Fashion
Wow.
Week. So he's a big name. So I got a chance to work with him up close, and I learned so much, you know. So, so slowly you grow. Like when I started initially as a groomer, I used to only do one-to-one training, which I do even today. But then I was not a professional trainer with other pageantries. But today I'm a professional trainer with other pageantries, other, organization who host these mega shows. But then I need to formulate a team because I alone cannot handle a show as big as this. So when you are a show director, you need to have a team working for you. So I have a team of 5 people who are working with me. Okay, so taking care of the backstage, taking care of the console, taking care of the ramp walk, and there are so many other things that you have to look into when you're directing a show. So for that, you need a team. But everything happens with continuous hard work, continuous planning and foresight, and sensible investment of money. Okay, just being passionate is not enough. You need to have a lot of wisdom also when you're being passionate, because you have a limited source of money and you must use it judiciously and use it in the manner that it comes back double fold. So, by the
Yeah.
grace of God, Surya, now I get paid for my travel, my stay, and the work that I do. But back in time when I started, I paid my tickets. I went, I showed my work, and I was paid very humbly. So this is the whole gamut, and it's a very competitive world. Like any other profession, it's not easy. I think it is more competitive. Everybody wants to chase who's the face in the media. People want to associate with the rising star forever. And it is so difficult. It's easy to climb the ladder and reach the top. You've also heard it, but to sustain
Yeah.
yourself there in the top, is
It's very
what
difficult.
is challenging. So that is how is it. If I don't show my consistency in work, people will not. They'll stop hiring me. They'll not give me more contracts. It's only because I keep promoting myself. Like you're talking about marketing. Yes, marketing is super important. What you're doing, you have to showcase to the world. You first start doing it on your own because you can't afford, your media handlers who take care of your media accounts. But it's only when you get too full with work and you have no time to do postings yourself, then you pay people and they, create your brand bigger on media bites. So, yes, you need to have a lot of investment, but you must do it sensibly. You must do it when you have surveyed the market well. Don't go by said presumptions. You should presume things on your own, to your own understanding of it. Don't go by because so and so is a more established person in this field. So if the person is saying so, it must be true. Maybe it's not true for you. So take time, do your surveys, vis-a-vis, compare yourself with other people, think what you're best at, and then start pitching in your hard work, your money and time. So this is my advice. This is what I've learned.
And you should, just keep working harder each and every day so that, you reach that mountain of success.
So true. I mean, consistency is all that takes away the
Consistency
energy.
is the key. I mean, for me as well, like I'm doing this podcast right now, and if I am not consistent enough,
Yes.
people won't tune into my
Oh,
podcast. So
yes.
I have to be
You have to
consistent.
be consistent. Totally.
And I'm still at the starting phase of my podcast, so I really, wish to take this forward and higher. So,
Absolutely.
I
And
mean,
I have my best wishes coming your way, Surya. You're already hosting it so beautifully. I've seen some of your podcasts. You come across as a thorough professional, and you do complete background study of every guest that you get on board. So I quite liked it, It's so lovely. And I'm sure you'll go
thank you.
very high in life.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really honored. And now, coming on to the much awaited rapid fire round of the show.
Sure.
So you basically have to answer the questions followed by a rationale behind that answer. So let me know if you're ready, and we can start.
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
Perfect. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. 3 superpowers according to you that set you apart.
My faith in the higher order, my self-belief, and never say die spirit.
That's really exceptional. And one person who inspires you the
My
most.
mother.
And one positive and one negative stereotype about modeling.
Positive, that it fetches you a lot of glamour, money, and negative, that there are a lot of compromises that one has to make.
Okay, and if you just had one wish, what would you ask for?
If I had one wish, I would just ask all my loved ones to stay forever with me in my life, because I derive a lot of strength from them. So I would want them to be immortal.
Okay. And yeah, wow, that was, a super exciting round, and I'm sure you must be having some amazing plans for the future. So would you like to share some of those? And also, could you share some book or podcast recommendations with our listeners?
Oh yes. So I, like how I told you, I have always been, I mean, I've always found comfort in reading books. So the first, when I was growing up, I used to love reading Ruskin Bond, because it gives you such beautiful flavors, to imagine, the descriptions in Ruskin Bond books are so beautiful. So I've grown up reading those. I have not been so much Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew kind of a person. I've always read these genres of books. But lately I did read this very amazing book, and it is Awaken Your Within. And it is by Anthony Robbins. Okay, so Awaken the Giant Within is what is it called. It's a beautiful book, and it takes you into an inward journey, a journey within, in which you're often made to ask a lot of questions to yourself, so that you get all your grays cleared. In life, we can never get rid of grays, but it's always good to have more of black and white than grays. So this is a book I strongly recommend people to read. Then the other book is The Japanese Way of Living. I mean, it's the hot selling cake, Ikigai. And I love that book so much. It's a very light read, and you can finish it in 2 days. But it gives you such amazing life lessons in order to live well. And the biggest treasure that all of us hold is good health. If we have health in our hands, we can move mountains. So, healthy way of living is what it guides you. And this is my second recommendation. And the other would be The Magic of Thinking Big. It's a great book for entrepreneurs, for people who want to start their own thing one day. So if they are there listening to me and you haven't read this book, you have to read it. Catch hold of this book, read it through, chew it up, and you will be loaded with ideas, bursting from your mind. Ki, ab main kya kar sakti hu? You have such this amazing book. So these are some reads that I suggest, Surya, to people.
Thank you so much for those book recommendations. And also, we generally ask our guests to leave us and our listeners with some words of wisdom. So what would be your message to people across the world, and especially to those who want to make their mark as a model or a fashion icon?
Well, I will just say that be very true to yourself, and rather than explaining yourself to others, wasting energies and trying to please people, just understand that those who love you will love you anyhow, and those who don't matter actually. So don't waste your energies outward. Take all those energies inward, and find passion and purpose in living what you're doing, because I think today the most valuable asset that we hold up after good health is time. It is slipping, it is ticking, and it's not going to come back again. So we can't take it for granted. So make the most of each moment, of each hour, of each day. And when you look back after some years, you will see that you have done so much in your life. So rather than speaking about yourself, create yourself with hard work, consistency, and passion, so that people talk about you. Everybody talks about themselves, but for winners, for achievers, it's always people who talk about you. So you must have something, good in you that people talk about you, right? So leave a legacy behind. This is the only thing. And be very true to yourself, because there is something unique in each one of us. I very, very strongly believe. And nobody's perfect. If perfection is a myth, according to me, I think the most beautiful things lie in imperfect things. There's no perfection according to me. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. And, I started with this podcast just to give that essence of different perspectives on different topics by hosting insightful people and leaders like yourself from across the globe. And I believe that the most important thing is to be curious and to learn from others. Since once you are curious and willing to learn through stories of various people, you start exploring new things and eventually find your way to thrive. So thanks a lot, ma'am, for those extremely valuable words of wisdom. And I'm quite sure that this episode will go on to inspire a lot of people across the world. But with this, we have unfortunately come to the end of this podcast. It was truly inspiring to have you on the show today. And thank you so much for taking out the time to share your incredible journey with us today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Surya. I can't thank you enough for having me over at your studio for this podcast. And I so love talking to you for the very fact that I have seen you grow. I go back in time, and it's a matter of great pride for me to see, that you are taking your sure steps towards success. And like how I said before, you are a thorough professional, and I see you doing extremely well in your life in times to come. And I'm watching over you. And it was my pleasure indeed to speak with you. And lots and lots of good luck.